Jacob's Superpowers. Jacob and Lily were on their summer holiday with their parents and had been spending the last few days at the beach. Jacob had promised both his nans that he would bring them back a lovely shell each from his holiday. "Jacob," said Mum, "don't forget, today is the last beach day. Tomorrow we will spend the day just by the pool and we go home early the next morning. So if you're going to look for shells, you'd better do it today." "OK, Mum," said Jake. He finished eating his lunch, jumped up and said, "Lily, do you want to help me?" Not really," thought his older sister, who had her head engrossed in her Kindle. But what she actually said was, "I just want to finish this chapter and then I will." "Yeah, right," said Jacob. "I really will," said Lily. "I promise." One of the things the Robinson children always did was to keep a promise. So, happy with that, Jacob went off in search of some shells. He found a few really smooth stones that would be great for skimming. Might even be able to beat my dad later with these, he thought. A few nice shells too, but nothing really unusual. "I think I may be too old for picking up shells," he thought. "I bet the kids at school would laugh at me. But then, my dad does it too. He calls it foraging." Jacob's parents had told him not to worry so much about what others might say all the time, or if they laughed. Good friends don't do that unless you're laughing together. Just then Jake trod on something sharp. He'd been walking along the edge of the water. He put his hand down to see what it was. He picked up a large cone shell. It was pearly white with purple markings on it. He shook the water out of it and put it to his ear. It was one of those shells that if you listened carefully, you could hear the sea, even if you weren't at the beach. Have you ever done that? Sure enough, there was a whooshing sound of the ocean. But then he thought he could hear something else too. He gave the shell another shake, put his finger in his ear and gave it a wriggle, and then put the shell to his ear again. Sure enough, he heard it again. "Whoosh! You can do magic. You have powers too. You just cannot see them. They're inside of you." He looked around. Was this a joke? But there was no one else near him. He studied the shell. "Hi, Jake!" He turned around and could see Lily walking towards him. "I've found some shells for you. You can add them to your collection if you like." Yeah, great, thanks. But listen to this one." "Oh, has it got the sound of the sea?" "Well, yes," said Jacob, "it has. But it's saying something else too." "What do you mean saying something else? Don't be a wally. They don't talk." "Just listen," insisted Jacob. Lily gave him a look that said, "Don't be so daft," but put the shell to her ear anyway. She listened intently. "I can hear the sea, that's all. Just keep listening." Jacob was watching his sister closely and saw her eyes get bigger in surprise. "You heard it too, didn't you?" I'm not sure what I heard. There are sounds, but I think it's just sea sounds," she stammered. "What do you think it's saying?" she asked, giving Jacob back the shell. He put it to his ear and listened. He heard it clear this time. "You can do magic. You have powers too. You just cannot see them. They're inside of you." Jacob repeated it to Lily. "What does it mean?" "Let me listen to it again," said Lily, and put the shell to her ear. After a minute she said, "I'm sorry, but I don't hear that." Seeing the disappointed look on her brother's face, she said, "Look, I don't disbelieve you, but maybe it's one of those things that not everybody can hear. Maybe you need to hear it more than I do. Come on, let's go back. Mum and Dad are packing up and we're going back to our apartment. Jacob put the cone shell in the pocket of his shorts and followed Lily. Oh, you have some lovely shells there, said Mum. Pick your favourite two. Both your nans will be really pleased. Put the rest back for other people to enjoy. OK, said Jake. He glanced at Lily. She winked at him, instinctively knowing he wanted to keep the cone shell a secret. That night, when Jake went to bed, he put the shell under his pillow. Half asleep, Jacob was dreaming about his shell and what it could possibly mean. You can do magic. You have powers too. You just cannot see them. They're inside of you. Maybe it would grant wishes or give me superpowers. Maybe when I get up in the morning, I'll be able to fly or be super strong. He put his hand back under the pillow to get the shell and listened once more. First he heard the relaxing sound of the sea. It sounded like waves lapping on the sandy shore. Then he heard, whoosh. Be kind. It's the happiness superpower that makes you strong inside. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts. And he fell asleep. The next morning, Jacob woke early. He felt great. He felt happy. But then, that wasn't unusual. After all, he was on holiday with his family, whom he loved, and he normally got up early anyway. He got the shell from under his pillow, quietly picked up his clean clothes so he didn't wake the others, and went in the bathroom, showered, dressed, brushed his teeth. Mum will be impressed I'm washed and dressed already, he thought. He could hear the rest of the family were up too. Dad was probably making the tea. He picked up the shell, and whilst looking in the mirror at himself, he listened to it once more. As before, he heard the sounds of the sea, and then this time he heard, whoosh. Be happy. Use your powers. I would if I knew what they were, he thought. As he walked out of the bathroom, Lily shouted, Oh, no! As her teacup spilt tea all over the floor. Oh, I hate it when that happens. My biscuit broke off and dropped in my tea. It made me jump and now I've spilt my tea. It's okay, said Jake. I've got a cloth. He picked up the cup and said, Do you want another biscuit? Well, yeah, thanks, bro. Wow, great job, Jake, said Mum. You must have put hero pants on today. Look at him, Dad said. He's like a glowworm, saving the day and making his sister smile again. What do you mean, like a worm? Said Mum, knowing she would regret asking. Dad started singing and leaping about. I wish I was a glowworm. A glowworm's never glum, 'cause how can you be grumpy when the sun shines out your bum? Well, really, said Mum, but they were all laughing and Jake felt great. Later that morning, Lily and Jake were sitting on the edge of the pool. Lily had been teaching Jake how to dive when he heard his name called. Oi, Jake! Oh, no, said Jake. What's wrong, said Lily. I thought you liked playing with Brian. Jake waved back. Well, I do, but he moans about almost everything, and then it's no fun. Oh, tell him to get over himself. He should be more grateful. Some kids don't even get a holiday, said Lily. Lily was a confident 12-year-old, a good student, with a very positive attitude. Jake got up and walked round the other side of the pool to talk to Brian. Hi, Brian, said Jake. I've got a puncture in my lilo, said Brian. Not that you're allowed to use them in this pool. Mum still won't let me go in the deep end. She says I'm not strong enough swimmer. And I've lost my goggles. Well, they might be in our apartment. I didn't have time to look for them. my mum wouldn't wait any longer 'cause I'd spent so long sitting in my pants playing Candy Crush. And Brian, Jake said forcefully. Brian looked up at him. Yeah? Look, I'm not being mean, but do you realise you moan quite a lot? Doesn't it make you feel fed up? Yeah, sometimes, but it's not my fault. Stuff just happens to me. Jake thought about his special shell and had an idea. Do you know what I thought when I woke up this morning? I don't know, said Brian. You were tired? No, I thought all about the stuff that hasn't happened. Like, we hadn't run out of biscuits, my leg hadn't fallen off, my iPad wasn't broken, and my pants hadn't all gone missing. What? said Brian, laughing in surprise. You have a go. Go on, said Jake. Stuff you're glad's not happened. It's not raining? Oh, come on, you can do better than that. Okay, it's not raining with thunder and lightning, and my hair hasn't fallen out. They both started laughing. That way, said Jake, you start the day happy and smiling and feel better, and you can do it at any time. I do, said Brian. Come on, said Jake. Let's go in the pool. Do you want to borrow my goggles? Yeah, thanks, Jake. Brian ran off to get his armbands. Lily strolled over to where Jake was standing. Hey, dude, that was really cool what you said to Brian. Did you really think them things this morning? No, but I think if I was feeling a bit glum or fed up, it's a good idea, don't you think? Yes, I do. That's putting your brain to good use, she said. Later, while Jake and Brian were playing the shallow end of the pool, some older boys came over. That's my brother John and his mates, pointed out Brian. He's always teasing me and saying mean things. Oi, Brian, give me them goggles. No, said Brian. They're not mine anyway. Jake lent them to me. Well, you two just stay down this end with the babies, out of our way. They look stupid on you anyway. They're very girly. Jake could see Brian was upset by his brother's remarks. Is that why you wanted to wear them? Said Jake. Oh, Johnny doesn't like water in his eyes, said Brian. And they both laughed, and so did Johnny's friends. Oh, shut up, said Johnny as he walked away, sulking. He called us babies in front of everyone, said Brian. And you're a good swimmer and allowed down the deep end. Who cares, said Jacob. You know I am. My parents know I am, and Lily knows I am, and they're the ones that are important to me, so I don't care what Johnny says, Jacob said, shrugging, realising himself that actually it was true. Some people just say mean things. It's their problem, not yours or mine. Mum says it's remembering not to say mean things yourself that's important. With that, they went back to diving under the water to collect the sink toys. Later that evening, after the family had been out for a lovely meal and were making their way back to their apartment, Jacob was telling Lily about Brian and Johnny. Well, I think you were a hero today, said Lily, and a good friend to Brian too. Maybe that's your superpower. Jacob suddenly stopped still. I think I've worked it out, said Jake. We all have superpowers. They're inside, in our brain and in our hearts. Being kind is a superpower. It has a powerful effect on others. It's a happiness superpower. Wowzers, I think you're right, dude. Do you still have the shell? Yes, said Jake, but it doesn't seem to be working anymore. I tried it again before dinner, and I've been thinking, maybe as we're walking back, when we pass the beach, I could throw it back, and maybe then it'll work for someone else. I think that's a great idea, said Lily. And you know what? I think you are a superhero. But if you tell anyone I said that, the end. So there you have it. The most powerful superpower is inside of you. It's inside your brain to help you think things through, and inside your heart to be kind and caring. A happiness superpower. How will you use yours? And don't forget, look out for that shell when you're next on the beach.